Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Darts World channel. I haven't made one of these weekly update videos in a while, but we've had lots of interesting stories recently, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. On Thursday, we saw Luke Littler win his second Premier League night back-to-back to move to the top of the table in his debut campaign, defying Grand Prix in the final, just after Price became the only player other than Phil Taylor to hit 3-9 darters in the Premier League. It is now known that Luke is a big football fan and a huge Man United supporter. He even opened up his Manchester Premier League nightly winning interview by saying that he was glad to win, even though he'd witnessed his side concede two very late goals to lose to Chelsea just minutes before coming out for the final walkover. And last week, Luke even got involved in a funny social media spat with a Premier League player, Brentford's Neil Maupay. After his side drew 1-1 with Man U, Maupay posted a photo of United player Scott McTominay pulling his shirt, saying that McTominay was a fan who was desperate for his shirt. Littler responded to the post on Instagram, saying that Maupay, a well-known wind-up merchant, talks more than he scores, which, as many football fans will know, is a fairly fair assessment. 27-year-old Maupay then responded to Luke, saying, "Talk about a big fish," accompanied with a video of Luke's famous 170 celebration, claiming that his post had reeled the 17-year-old in. It was a very funny exchange, and Littler's doubled down on his reply, stating that he enjoys bantering online and that everyone knows who Maupay is and what he does. He said that he laughs at what the Frenchman does, and he had his 20p's worth. He said it was bad luck if other people couldn't hack it. That wasn't even the first time this year that Maupay's been involved in a darts-related wind-up story, as he famously copied James Maddison's dart celebration during his team's game against Tottenham earlier in the season, causing some drama. Who knows, with Maupay's knowledge of the big fish and his eagerness to copy Maddison's celebration, he could be an undercover darts fan. Going back to the theme of Littler in the Darts Premier League, he also won the week last week in Belfast, which was the first Premier League night win of his career. That meant he's now won a Premier League night, Players Championship, Euro Tour and World Series event. All he has to tick off next is a major, and who knows, that could come in the Premier League this year. But Littler's PL progress was nearly hampered ahead of last week's final when a fan in the crowd strongly grabbed and held his arm on the walk-on, causing a security guard to have to intervene. Littler went on to win the final against MVG, but said that he didn't know who the fan was and that it had hurt him a little and meant that he went straight to the stage instead of interacting with the fans and music. It's likely that the fan involved was thrown out. Another recent news story involving Luke is that he's now applied to trademark his name to be able to sell even more official merchandise. He already has a trademark for his nickname, which covers a wide variety of merch, but the new application for his name is for sports equipment, which can include things such as weight gear and martial arts kits. He's also applied to have it cover artificial Christmas trees, which could be a big hit come Ali Pali season. It's likely just media hype that Littler will be selling things like martial arts kits, as all the items mentioned simply come under the wide sports category, but the trademark will surely be used for something. Staying on the theme of the media massively overhyping dart stories at the moment, this week we saw Luke Humpries call it out after a quote he made was taken massively out of context by TalkSport. After beating MVG in the final of the Belgian Darts Grand Prix, Luke simply said that he and Michael were the two best players in the world. TalkSport titled their story about that quote to say that Humpries didn't see Littler as his world number one rival. The world champ responded to say that media outlets spouting absolute rubbish about the players since the World Championship was annoying him. He said that he never mentioned Littler in the interview and that, as a high-profile media outlet, TalkSport should be doing better. After that tweet, TalkSport swiftly deleted the story. Going back to last weekend, it was Humpries who won the German Darts Grand Prix, smashing MVG in the final. The tournament was also good for Martin Schindler, who reached the second Euro Tour semi-final of his career, becoming the German player with the most wins in the tour's history in the process. He was even named as the most underrated player on the tour by Wayne Mardell, who said that the man known as the Wall is brilliant but hardly ever gets the warranted credit. During his run to the Final Four, Martin beat Vitislav Sedlak, Damon Heta, Chris Toby and then Nathan Aspinall before losing to MVG. One of the players that Martin beat, Chris Dobie, who lost 6-4, was far from happy with the German crowd after the game, as during the game they'd booed him and supported Schindler, who is German. In a tweet released shortly after the game, Dobie said that he didn't know how the German players had the nerve to complain about fans booing them in the UK. He said it was unfortunate that the crowd were very disrespectful. Now, was that a dig at Riccardo Pietrezco, who famously got angry with the British crowd at the Grand Slam last year? Even if it isn't, I think the players should stop giving poor crowds attention and instead leave it to commentators to call it out and the security to kick out anyone making excessive noise, which the PDC have committed to doing in the past. One player who I do agree with calling out the behaviour of a crowd recently is Grand Prix, but for a very different reason. After this week's Premier League final, he posted on Instagram to say that the final was spoiled before a dart was even thrown, saying that change is needed. That's in reference to the fights between many different sets of fans in the crowd and fans who were throwing beer at the tables, of which videos have appeared of on social media. Going to the darts should always be a great time, but unfortunately, at big events like the Premier League, there are many idiots. Price was right to call this out, and I hope that security can deal better with nights like this in the future, even though it's clearly a very hard job in such a big arena. Now, we're going to end today's video by looking at some brighter news, that of some fans who got engaged on the Eurotour stage in Munich dressed in dart shirts, with the groom-to-be wearing a Grand Prix Dublin shirt and the bride-to-be wearing a pink snakebite shirt. You may assume that's the first time someone's proposed on a PDC stage, but you'd be wrong. In 2013, we saw fans get engaged on the Grand Slam stage in Wolverhampton, and in 2022, we saw a fan propose on the stage at Butlins Minehead. In 2018, we even saw a proposal in the crowd at Ali Pali during a World Championship game between Joe Cullen and Brendan Dolan. Both players laughed and applauded as it was shown on the big screen. Now, my question for you today is, if you had to plan a darts proposal, as strange as it might be, let me know what it would involve in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications, as it really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.